Okay, let's do it.
Yeah.
Welcome to the next episode of Comedy Guy with Tim.
Hey.
And Lewis.
Hello.
Here we are in Tim's apartment.
Yes.
Why are we in Tim's apartment?
Because I had to take delivery of some stuff from SmartPost. And he delivered everything before we even started. So we could have done it in the studio, but we're here now anyway. So.
That's all right. We're here in the apartment. It's a hot afternoon. It's Friday afternoon. We haven't done one for a while. Windy as fuck. And we just wanted to check in. It's been a while.
Yeah,
okay. You've been hanging out in Pi Day a little bit?
Yeah, well, I've been around. Like, I went to Parnu and I went to Haapsalu, and I've been driving around. And because I made this map, you see, I made this map of all the interesting shit that I found.
Oh, yeah, I saw that map.
In Estonia. So I've been kind of going and making sure it's all still there. And some of it is not.
Where does it go? What do you mean? Like, what's disappeared?
So, out towards Tabasalu, there's an old Soviet nuclear missile base where they used to have these Dvina 2 nuclear missiles. And when I came across this, like 3-4 years ago, almost all the buildings were still there intact. And they had this massive, like... payload mating building, and the school building was there, and I went back there the week before last, and they'd knocked everything.
So the whole building, obviously the missile's long gone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, there's one structure left, and it's where they would have had the missile lying down. It's like the silo, like the horizontal silo or whatever, but everything else has been knocked. I assume for health and safety or whatever.
How close can you get to this stuff?
You can drive right up to it.
Huh. There's nothing... Yeah. Okay, nope. So I guess the significance of this building has long ago passed.
Oh, yeah. Gone.
Okay,
yeah.
It's just now...
I mean, there's signs saying do not enter, but that's exactly. A welcome sign for me.
Yeah, they don't apply to us.
No. So for a while, that place was being used by paintballers and motocross people or whatever. So I'm guessing... Estonia's this big globalized country, health and safety gonna run amok, so they have to knock all the buildings so people don't die. Because some of the buildings were dodgy, like the one in particular, there's bits of the roof falling down.
Yeah,
so
I guess they gotta do it.
You understand, like.
Is it near anywhere? Is it like valuable land that they might want to use?
Nah, it's in the middle of nowhere.
Okay.
Middle of nowhere, yeah.
Okay, some government shit they want to charge.
So that's what I was doing, just driving around and just making sure it's all still there.
All right, we're still getting a hold. We're recording with some new equipment here, so I'm still getting a hold of everything. Wait, I'll turn that way. Okay, so driving around, some Pi at a time, some driving around Estonia. Do you add to your map at all? Have you added to it recently?
Yeah, every now and then I like not find it physically, but I read. There's a great website called militar.net, I think.
Okay,
and it's just a bunch of just autistic Estonian guys who just chat about all these old facilities that are around the country. Yeah. So I just troll through that, see something interesting, say, all right, I'll go visit that, and then add it to the map. So there's a lot of on the map that I haven't been to yet. Like there's a load of shit in Ida Virumaa, and I've barely been to Ida Virumaa. I've been to Rakvere once, and that's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
I've got to go to Rakvere this Saturday. I bought another TV, and it's for $10. Really good. CRT, Sony, U2000, very nice. But it's in Rakvere. So I'm like, okay, I guess on Sunday I'm going to Rakvere.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that's it. That's what I've been doing. Podcast over.
We're done. We're still... But yeah, we're getting back into it. What have I been doing? Just... don't know. I'm making my videos. Just also a lot of managing Comedy Estonia stuff now.
You're just slowly dying in Lagri.
Yeah, I know. Living out in the suburbs. What the fuck am I doing with
Here's a fun fact for you. I'm going to fucking hit you with one of Tim's fun facts of the day.
Lay it out.
Lagri got its name because there was a prisoner of war camp near Pascula. So Lagri. So the Nazis, either the Nazis or the Soviets, had a prisoner of war camp, and they named it Lager for camp, and Lagri was formed from that.
No shit. Okay, yeah. So that's fitting that is now my prisoner of war camp.
Yeah. You're just trapped and just dying.
I can't. That's all I'm gonna do is die. I'm gonna die out there. I don't know what about like my own shit. Actually, I like doing my own projects now a little bit. I mean, the podcast is good. I've still got to talk to somebody though, which I find tough. So you can see we're still ramping up into this podcast, but trying to make my games videos just because it's like something I can do on my own. For so long, everything, the leadership and running the company and even going to a show, it's all very collaborative. There's a lot of people around. Yeah. And this is just something I can do on my own and make it like within a day I can make something. So I've been doing that. Yeah, I've been turning out those videos, but just I don't know, like not just trying to not have too much stress. As well, just living for a little while. Nothing's big coming up. I did my little trips. Went to Turkey. Went to Lithuania, and just like happy to get through the week.
Now let's get on to Turkey a little bit.
Okay.
Because we haven't done a podcast since you came back.
Not since I came back. No.
Kebab situation.
Very good.
Give me all the details.
Well, they got these spinning sticks of meat, and the bloke cuts it off, and you eat it. That's
and like
it.
See, I've never been to Turkey, so I have this image in my mind where because Estonian kebabs are shit. They give you fuck all meat.
Yeah, that's the problem.
They overload it with salad. Yeah. It's horrible. So I imagine going to Turkey, you can just get a giant platter of just meat. You know?
Sure, I would do that. I'd be like trying to explain to the guy, like, I mean, you can get just like the kebab meat off the stick. Like, yeah, I know, I want 2 servings. And he'd be like, oh, the 2 of you, 2. And I'm like, no, 2 for me. Hungry. And it'd take a while and he'd eventually get it. That usually that would be for lunch rather than the kebab meat off the stick. I'd be getting grill meat, so some grill platter with that kebab, that lamb kind of thing, and then different sort of other grill meats would be most typical lunch that I'd have there.
Because like sometimes in Estonia, like what's that gas station chain, the yellow one, Olerex. They have actual like kebab rotisseries in there.
Oh really?
And sometimes I just want to say to the guy like, can you just give me like all of that? You just shave off a load. I'll pay whatever. Like, but you know, I probably couldn't get it done because he's like, no, I'd have to ask my boss or whatever. Some
and
bullshit.
Do they actually get through a whole? What? Tell me, maybe you know more about this. Do they actually need to get through a whole rotisserie in one day?
I don't know.
What happens?
I don't know.
I can't imagine every Olerex if they've got a spinning stick. Okay, turkey, fine. I believe it. The guy knows what to do.
Yeah,
but. What do you do? That's what I was wondering. Is this why your Estonian kebabs are shit? Because there's some technique they're doing. Because I can't imagine even square kebab is going through a whole rotisserie every day.
They must have to like refrigerate it between.
What happens with that? What's going on with that situation? But I agree. You just want a shitload of meat.
Just fuck ton of meat.
All the meat on the table.
Subhanallah, I miss the Greek place, Pita's.
Oh yeah.
Because we used to just be able to go in there and I could just say to Yanis, just give me a fuckload of meat, and he'd charge me like €15 or whatever, but I don't care. I get my after a fucking night on the piss, just fucking horsing into meat.
And I'd argue the meat is better for you than horsing into some other crap anyway, burger or pomburger or something. Right, exactly.
Because usually these Greek places, they put fries in the kebab, which I hate because it's just filler. It's just bollocks. Sure. So just give me the fucking meat.
Just want the meat on the plate. Yeah. Turkey, I found, was the place, especially Istanbul, you can spend as much as you want or as little as you want.
Yeah.
So you can have, whatever, no doubt there's a very fancy shit. There's the bottle opener. Open it, cunt.
I have one here, sorry.
Of course he's got one on hand.
Podcast is brought to you by Corona Extra.
Yeah, it is. Also, our lives brought to you by COVID-19 Corona. Hey. You can, like, okay, so probably, like, if I was going to get a good lunch, like my good 2-person platter just for me, I'd probably be spending, let's say it was about €10 per person. But if I ate for 2 people, I'd probably spend 20.
Yeah.
But I was like, I don't care. This was amazing. Like a nice place, too, to sit down for lunch. But then again, going down the small streets of Istanbul, it's a roast chicken for €2.50, and there was dinner. So sit by the water, 2 of us eat the roast chicken. And that was amazing as well. And the guy's like, you want the onion? And we're like, yeah, I want onions with it.
So when you went to Turkey, did you do what you usually do in Japan, where you just wander and like go down random streets? And
yeah, there was a lot of that, a lot of walking around. I'm not real great with like going to see sites and things like that. So Rayleigh wanted to see some museums in a few places, and I was like, look, you say the place we're going to go and I will navigate us there. That is my skill here, is navigating us from point A to point B, but I don't know what museum to go to. So we went to some places, like there's some ferries, went down the island, take a ferry, it takes an hour and a half. But the beach there is, like, it's only private beaches. So we paid €7 each, but it's like a tacky Euro trash resort. You get a bed and an umbrella, and the guy will bring you some drinks, and you swim a little bit.
So you have to pay just to go to the beach?
Yeah, just to go to the beach. Yeah, there's no way to there's no just like a sandy beach.
Yeah.
Anywhere really on that whole strip going from, as much as I've understood, from the Black Sea down to the Mediterranean. It's all private beaches. But for €7, I got a bed, and an umbrella and a pretty nice place to go into the beach. And like, I guess there was also club blaring Euro techno music playing all day as well. But yeah.
Do you have the Muslim call to prayer every morning?
Absolutely. All the time. Because it's like five times a day. And it was it's a very interesting part of it. Like that, when do people stop? It seems it's like call to prayer happens, I think like 5 times a day, especially the first one is like 5:30 in the morning or something. But not everybody observes it all the time. I guess there are people that are more religious and less religious. I would say if I had to make a broad sweeping observation, Turkish people seem to be, they more likely like pray once or twice a day rather than every time. Like, and I did see people at different, every restaurant even, I'm sort of just going to the toilet and I'm out the back and you can kind of see in the back rooms and they've got their prayer room there.
Yeah,
and the staff, you'd hear it going and some of the staff. But then at the same time, there's a whole bunch of staff who aren't praying. So it's not like the whole thing stops at 5 times a day for everybody to pray, but it's very, very oral. I mean, just to hear this whole city, because Turkey sort of goes up and down. Sorry, Istanbul goes up and down. It's a lot of hills and valleys, and it's not at all a flat city. Yeah. And just the way that the call to prayer just sort of blasts across these little valleys and hills or something. There's something very
people in Ireland and the UK as well, they complain. I remember there was this, like when Brixton, I think the biggest mosque in the UK is that's in Birmingham, but in Brixton there's a big mosque where they do the call to prayer every morning. People complain. I think it's fantastic. Yeah. I'd love to hear it. See, what I'd love to do is to get a megaphone and just do one here, just to give the residents of Tallinn, a taste of their future when all the Muslims move here and there's call to prayer every fucking morning at 5 o'clock.
I mean, Istanbul, I don't mind. I mean, it wakes you the fuck up. So I don't know if that's like, if you want to talk about waking me up kind of thing, like I'm not opposed to it on religious grounds or it's annoying, but if the call to prayer is at 7 a.m, I mean, people need, there's like, because that's what, like, there's almost like mental health concerns. And I wonder about that as well. Like, how does it work? Like, not everyone is praying all the time, but if the last call to prayer is like at, I don't know, 11, or when I think it's like when the light goes down or something, like it's like 11. And then the first call to prayer in the morning is 5 a.m. That's not enough hours to sleep, like for a human being to get enough hours to process, right? There's some sort of, maybe that's why they're all nuts. Maybe they're not sleeping. Like that's 6 hours if you go to bed right there. But as I've understood, no one's sleeping it.
And when you were there, what was the security situation like? Was there any dodgy, like military vehicles going around?
Loads of them. Oh, so I apologize if people heard my podcast in Turkey. I did already.
Oh, you already talked? Oh,
I talked a little bit about this, but it's fine, Tim. I can talk again. Military vehicles. So in the main, there's the Taksim Square, which is where the shit was kicking off some years ago. Then you've got the where the main mosques, the Hagia Sophia and the Blue Mosque down there. And that's where like the centers of people would be if shit was going to kick off. And they have, I would say they look like military forward operating bases. And the military hardware that I saw there, I have not seen such things since Afghanistan. Since years ago when we were there, and the armored personnel carriers and the types and makes. It wasn't even just like a Hummer. It was like, that's only army, and the army never uses that. Like, you never, like, even if the Estonian army has them in Afghanistan, they're not here driving around the streets in them, right? They had military grade stuff, and you could even see the different levels of law enforcement, I guess. You can see like a regular kind of policeman, Joe Schmo, sort of regular cop. They're pretty regular. Then you could see like police, I don't even want to say special forces or something, but like more advanced police. You can tell they look more professional. Yeah. They have something about them that they're kind of more in black. So there was many more of those. And then it's still pretty clear to see like, oh, that guy's a soldier. Like I saw a bunch of them and it says police. First of all, they're in camouflage. And I just had this feeling, look, not that I know a lot about military structure or something, but you'd see these guys, they're in camo, they're next to a armored personnel carrier, and I was like, they're not even soldiers. These guys are like special forces. Like, and how do I know? Not because I'm trained, just like the look in their eye and the way that they carry themselves. The junior cop is always a little bit like, ooh. But, the higher up you go, the more self-assured that operator is about themselves and what they're standing around. And when the guy's got the huge machine gun and the look in his eye, you're like, oh, you're a soldier, and you're not even just an infantryman. Yeah. You were trained for something very special, and they're just on the ground in the regular squares there. So what's his name? Erdogan. He's ready when shit kicks off.
Yeah.
Again.
Fucking hell, that's crazy. Because I remember there was a lot of talk up until maybe 5 years ago that Turkey's going to be in the EU and all this and that, and doesn't seem like that's going to happen now.
I don't reckon anymore. Wasn't there something? There was an EU meeting and Erdogan got into like a spat with Macron or something.
Did he?
I heard something about that. Like they even had like a straight out argument last time.
Yeah.
So there's that going on. But everything gets tracked there. So when you get in, you have to register yourself. Okay, you got to register, and then you get a QR code, which essentially forms like your temporary ID number in the country. And when we got travel cards, they had to be, you don't just get like your travel card, that gets registered against your temporary ID number. So that is tracking you. I think a lot of COVID shit, they'll probably use as an excuse to track people. So sometimes even to go into malls, they wanted to scan this QR code. And sure, it's contact tracing, but fuck off contact tracing. Turkey doesn't. Like, you're supposed to wear masks inside, but no. It's not contact tracing. It's tracing the fucking people.
Yeah.
So they trace you everywhere you go, and they'll trace tourists and not only that, on the way in.
Well, why do you think that is though? With just control and
absolutely control. That's what I mean. Erdogan is 75% of the way to being a dictator. Straight up, with the way he's controlling people and the way that their lives are controlled by him and his government. The amount, from what we can understand, the amount of dissent that's there, it's like, nah, you can't.
Yeah.
So
you couldn't like sit in like a pub in Istanbul and talk shit about Erdogan. A soldier would come in and put a gun to the back of your head and say, no, he's good.
Well, maybe, but also maybe tourists might get off a little easier. Like I was just walking by. It just seemed like a police station on the corner. It wasn't like a fortress or something, but they had a huge riot vehicle out the front, like a massive, not even like an armored personnel carrier. It was like a truck, like a dump truck or something, not a semi-trailer, like a dump truck size, but the whole back of it, where usually there'd be dirt or whatever, that I assume is filled with water, because it's got the water cannon on the top. And it's got the huge, like a bulldozer's got that thing on the front of it to push the dirt. I mean, it's got one of those on the front, which is to not push dirt, but to push protesters, right?
To grind people up.
To grind protesters. And that's just hanging out on the street there. Very common. And so I was just walking by. There's this thing, and there was a couple of officers, again, I think pretty low grade, not operators, like quite low grade. And I had the camera up filming, and I didn't even notice them. And he's like, no. And no. And I went, all right, champion, and put it away. And I think that Turkish people wouldn't get off quite as easy as, like, let the foreigner go, otherwise you're going to cause a circumstance or something.
You see, you telling me all this stuff, it annoys me, because this is a country that's really close to Europe. There was talks for a long time about them joining the EU, and there's this like real oppression visibly happening. And then you have these fucking idiots in Dublin or even in Tallinn, these anti-vax protesters who are protesting because they feel like they're being oppressed. They don't have a fucking clue what oppression looks like. Yeah. It's like this whole, like in America, the UK, like people are too fucking comfortable now in the West, that the tiniest of things, like a vaccine passport, is fuck oppression. This is how it starts. No, you don't live in Turkey or fucking North Korea or China. You're fine.
What's the I'd be very interested to know the anti-vax people in Estonia. Like, again, I don't want to get on that anti-vax bandwagon. Like, those people are terrible. It's more just like an interesting thing for me. I choose vax just because I want to do shit. The government has said you can do stuff if you get vaxxed. I'm like,
I fully agree that there's something going on.
There's something going on.
And, like, these people are the type who would believe in conspiracy theories, and they're of that type.
Sure.
Like my brother is one of them.
Oh yeah.
He's of that type. He thinks he knows everything, and the government is evil and oppressive and this and that and all that. But like, to see it happening here is just silly.
And that's what I'm kind of interested in. The anti-vax people here, the ones who are like, you can be like, oh, I'm concerned about the long-term health effects and all this sort of stuff. But the ones who are like, it's oppression, it's putting us down, it's all this again. I'm like, how does that relate? Like, the Soviet Union wasn't a good place.
Yeah.
It wasn't a good place for freedoms. Like, is that, and I don't know. Look, I wasn't there. I don't know. But are you forgetting that? Or how do you merge that idea of what you're saying with the very real, only 25 years ago? Well, okay, probably a little bit more to the real oppressions of the Soviet Union. How do they merge those two ideas? How do they exist to call whoever is the current leader of this country whatever, oppressive, fascist, all this shit? But then it was so short time ago that they lived in real ass communism. I just would be very interesting to know how those two things are combining in their head.
I've always thought about the Estonian independence situation as similar to what we had in Ireland in like 1922. We got our independence, and we hated the English and hated the Brits. We bombed London, we bombed the North. But nowadays, enough time has passed and enough generations have moved on. We fucking love the English, and it's only a little bit of banter that, fuck the Brits, man. They raped us for 800 years. So I think give it like 4 generations, and fucking Estonians won't be any anti-Russian shit going on here. Everything will be cozy and wonderful.
It does. Okay, so even after 30 years it can.
But when it comes to the anti-vaxxer thing, it's almost like a flat earth situation, because if you talk to enough flat earthers, eventually you have to ask, like, well, why would they lie about this? Why would they lie about the shape of the earth? Why, what's the end goal? So like, if let's say they're suppressing ivermectin, or the vaccine is a method of who benefits? Like, it's just bollocks. It's a waste of time.
Well, the greatest irony, if we're trying to make this anti-vax to how do they feel about the Soviet Union comparison, I mean, okay, anti-vax, flat earth, conspiracy theories, they're being pushed online. Yeah. Okay? That's where they're coming from.
In massive echo chambers.
Right. Let's be real. Who do we think is doing this population manipulation?
It's the Jews, though. I mean, that's what it boils down to. Like, a lot of these anti-vaxxers, if you get them in a pub and get them drunk enough, it always comes down to
the Jews.
It always comes down to the Jews.
I was going to say the Russians are the ones actually doing it, and that's the irony of this situation, but we'll go with Jews instead.
There can be Russian Jews.
No, I think the Russians are the ones actually doing it, but they actually blame it on. Like, it's the Russians fucking doing this psychological manipulation, and they're really fucking good at it. And it's the Jews.
It's like in the US, like when they went after Trump, the whole Russia conspiracy thing. Like, you'd see people online on fucking Reddit, the cesspit of the internet, and the argument would eventually devolve into, what's the weather like in St. Petersburg or Moscow? So like, people from Russia being vilified because everyone was like crazy. Trump bad. So I must feel bad for the Russian people, because if you go to Moscow now, it's no different to Tallinn.
Hey, I read an interesting fact about that the other day. Like, in terms of the spectrum thing, I think I'm open to it, but I think I'm a little bit more orange man bad than you are, right?
Well, I just find him entertaining. That's
okay.
I find the Europeans who have any strong beliefs about American politics are fucking disgusting. You need to just shut the fuck up. You don't live there. You're not, it doesn't affect you. And some people would say, well, it does in a roundabout way, because American foreign policy affects everyone. And so, no, it doesn't. Just fucking eat the bugs, live in the pod, and don't ask questions.
Fair enough. So the point was, I heard this point the other day. Why does America go after Russia so bad? Even if you say, like, why does America give a shit about Russia, right? They were never oppressed. There was no Soviet Union. Why do they do that? Because if you take a cross-section of the American diplomatic corps who are based in Eastern Europe or on the borders around that, there is a very large percentage of those members of the diplomatic corps who are first or second generation Eastern European immigrants.
Okay.
And so what you've got is the diplomatic corps who is there of that region is all coming from one very particular point of view, which is Russia bad, Soviet Union bad. And then that is therefore influencing the United States.
Yeah, yeah. It's such a weird one. It's bizarre. Because, you know, I mean, you go back to the 40s and 50s, like, yeah, Soviet Union bad, America good. But now everything's so interconnected. Like, what's the point in having any strong opinion about any of it? It's all bollocks. It's all watered down bullshit.
So let's go over to Estonian news of the day that I just read. English ERR. If you want your source of news, that's the place to go. So there was a Brazilian person, and the story goes. Maybe even you want to pull it up there. Okay. Go to news.err.de and down PPA.
Fucking Iron Man disrupting everything.
Food, there we go. Wait. 1429. Food delivery courier. Yep. Food delivery courier, third country foreign national who has been working as a food delivery courier in Tallinn, has to leave the country after being found in violation of the temporary employment requirements. So it seems to be that this person was driving along.
It's a woman as well.
Oh, it's a lady. A Brazilian lady. Maybe they're at the Brazilian fest that I was hosting on the weekend ago. Maybe I met that person. Who knows? So the story seems to be that this person was driving along, and it's the police pull them over. Now, it's unstated why they were pulled over. Let's assume routine stop. The police check the ID. The police go and, I guess, punch that into the computer. So first of all, the police have enough of a reason to stop this person that they go and check the ID on the computer. Because they don't often do that. Sometimes you look at your ID and go like, all right.
Yeah, but read this shit. It says the driver, female 27-year-old Brazilian national, had with her corporate food delivery bag, so Wolt or Bolt or whatever, while a check of her phone history revealed that she had fulfilled a food order within the preceding 10 minutes.
Right.
That's fucking police state shit.
So what's going on with this? Wait. So let's back up here. First of all, so she gets pulled over and... So they don't say whether so they're a bit unclear about her actual visa. They say temporary visa.
Yeah.
I assume that means, the implication of the article is that she's got a work visa somehow, like my one, temporary. Temporary just means not permanent, right? I'm on temporary. So I'm temporary technically. Employment in some kind of thing. So maybe she's even got an Estonian driver's license. I don't know. This could possibly be. But then I guess they've checked it on the computer. So she's done such a infraction that the police need to check it on the computer. Either they want to or they've done that. And then it's popped up that she should be working for, I don't know, XYZ company, right? Mm-hmm. But then some smart officer looks in the back and sees the Wolt bag and goes, wait. You're delivering for Wolt. And then, as you say, they've determined. I guess there are other methods for determining whether.
But why is a specific job linked to a work visa? Why can't she moonlight?
You can't. I'm going to come to this story. This will become a crucial part of the later part of this podcast.
Okay.
I'm going somewhere with this.
Right.
That when you have a temporary work visa, you're only allowed to work in that one company.
Really?
You're not allowed to change the company's employment.
Does this apply to you as well?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So I originally was employed in Comedy Estonia, and when we switched everything over to Zezeran Consulting, I actually had to get a new visa, and I kind of restarted my visa time as such, even though I own both companies.
So I suppose it's like the sponsor system in America where you get the work visa because you already have a job waiting for you with such and such company.
Right. And you're only allowed to work in that company, technically.
Okay.
And then I guess some smart officer has put two and two together, seen the Wolt bag. Now, here's the next thing. So they could, I guess, have worked that out. I guess they could contact Wolt or Bolt, but then they'd have to detain the person. Then they'd have to go through a whole rigmarole. But, yeah, the thing that you just pointed out, they've looked at the person's phone and seen that now. I have no idea of the legality of that. How does that bit work? Can they look with some suspicion that she's broken Is that enough to actually just straight up go through someone's phone?
Well, I don't know what the laws are here, especially after that massive Apple case in America, where they made precedent that, if the police want to look at your information, you have to give them your password now. Like, Apple are obliged now to, and this is just America, I don't know if it applies here, but
go through that, right? But we're talking about in person when the police say, "Can you show me your phone?"
Yeah.
Maybe they asked and she showed. Maybe she realized she's fucked.
Probably, yeah.
And she realized, I'm going to comply with the police.
Yeah.
Because, maybe she's sitting there and she's like, I'm fucked.
Yeah.
This guy's already onto it. Either if I don't comply, then they're just going to talk to Wolt and I'm going to be found out. But if I do comply, we do know Estonian police are not bad when you do comply. Well, this poor woman got kicked out, but let's see.
Yeah. Well, what I think happened was a policeman ordered food from Wolt. She was late and his food was cold, and he said, "This motherfucker," and he kicked her out of the country. Because that's insane. Like, she must have voluntarily showed them on the phone,
I guess. So I mean, now it's hard to imagine a more harsh thing than she already got. It's what she got kicked out, basically, straight up.
Yeah.
And she can't. So was it? She has to leave within 15 days.
Yeah. She has a 3-month entry ban.
Can't come back in. So I guess we don't even know her real... Was she even on a... Well, she couldn't have been on a tourist visa. She must have been on some... They kind of implied that she was working for the wrong company. So she had a working visa, which would give you probably the 3-year, I think, is the minimum. So...
I mean, this shit is interesting to me because Tallinn has to deal with massive waves of immigration at the moment. And they're all Wolt and Bolt drivers.
So they're okay. So they think there's some thing. Yeah, all right. They're on the lookout. This is a problem for them. So I guess, I mean, I hope that she volunteered that information, realizing she's fucked either way. These guys are not they're gonna find out, and she's not gonna, do well here.
Oh, it's the phone history checking thing that's fucking dodgy.
Right. Was that done with her authority, or under what authority do the police? Or then again, she just realizes, okay, I'm gonna volunteer. Yeah. Because if you don't, maybe they're going to make things worse, and they made things worse for her anyway.
Because I was reading about the drink driving laws in this country. I just happened to be reading about them.
That's interesting, Tim.
And you can refuse the breath test. You don't have to do it.
Right.
But there's an automatic admission of guilt behind that. So she probably could have just said, "No, you can't check my phone." But then there might have been some sort of, that means that you're...
Right. I mean, they're definitely going to... Either way, there's a small chance they might be lenient on her.
Yeah.
But... So I would say, without incriminating ourselves here on this podcast, we have both found the Estonian police to be quite considerate.
Yeah, they're legends.
Legends in terms of the things that we've done and what we've gotten away with.
Because we're nice. We don't go, "Hey, black fire."
That's going to be interesting. So, okay, that's very interesting. We have no idea of this woman's attitude through this whole thing. She may have... we don't even know the level of English that she had. I mean, maybe she was not being just cooperative in the first place. Maybe she was being adversarial, and maybe she's got a very low level of English or something that's also causing some, issues in the middle.
Because there's this, I guess she's a politician. She's a journalist in Ireland. Her name's Gemma O'Doherty, and she's leading this anti-vax bollocks in Ireland. Yeah. And she was not allowed... She was stopped by the police for something, and she did the thing where, "I'm not complying. I'm a sovereign citizen," or whatever. "You have no authority over me," and now she's fucked because she didn't just go, "I'm sorry, guard. Okay, I'm sorry." It's pussy. It's a pussy attitude to have, to just bow to the fucking police, but it's a job for them.
Yeah, it's not pussy. It's sort of like, what's the thing that's going to get me out of this situation? Will it full-on frontal assault down the middle be the best plan? Usually,
reach for the gun and grab it.
Again, I'm not so good with military shit, but full-on frontal assaults usually don't go that well. You know what usually works? A little sneak around the side, a little flank attack.
Now, we did wrong things in the past. Try to think about it from the perspective of someone who has done nothing wrong, who questions authority, like these anti-vaxxers or whatever. they have that trigger in them to go, well, fuck you. No, I know my rights and all this shit. So, but we actually did the wrong things.
I wonder if there would be, do we do this because also we have some attitude like we are foreigners, right? I don't want to fuck with this shit too much.
Yeah, but also, I mean, I was raised in Ireland to just respect fucking authority, you know?
Yeah, okay. So we don't know the attitude of this lady. Was she cooperative, not cooperative?
She's from Brazil, which is a fucking rough country to begin with. So she's not used to the legends that
why did they
who are in the police.
So we don't even know why did they pull her over in the first place.
Yeah.
Was it a random check, or could be, random routine check, or was she speeding and then they found that? I mean, probably not.
I see them, especially here on this road, I see them stopping Bolt couriers all the time.
Oh, really?
All the time, yeah. They'll follow them up this street and then they'll stop them at the end. At least 4 times I've seen them. And it's always a minority that they're talking to. It's always a black guy or someone else,
Huh.
So, I don't know. Racial profiling in Estonia. My goodness.
Who'd have thought?
Yeah.
So this brings me to the next part of the story where I understand, Tim, you don't want to admit guilt. I will admit guilt in this next part of the story because the story isn't done yet and I realize what's happened to me.
I'm guilty all the time. I'll admit guilt like that. I'll admit guilt for something I didn't do.
So this quirk of the... Ooh, why'd your computer turn off?
The screensaver.
No, it's screensaver. This quirk of the rule, this rule that says on the temporary permit, you have to only work for the company that you're supposed to work for, that you've said. And I'm employed as, I don't know, whatever, I think member of the board or something of Zezeran Consulting, and that's how I get my visa. Now, when I was in Lithuania doing the acting work, it was done through a talent agency here, and then they give you a contract. Cool. And of course I didn't look at the fucking contract. I was like, yeah, whatever, it's fine, right? And I gave them all my details, and I didn't think twice about it because it just didn't dawn on me. And then I was like, yeah, they're gonna, and then she's like, we'll just pay you personally. And I went, yeah, sure, just pay me personally, don't worry about it. And then I see an email that says, oh, hey, they've registered you in the employment register as temporarily working for this agency because that's how you get paid as a sole kind of person in this way. And then like a couple of days later, you get the notice like, oh, they've taken you off the register. And that's when it sort of dawned on me like, oh, wait, I just technically took a job with another company. Oh, and it never dawned on me.
Yeah.
And that's I think, in violation of my visa. So, and I wondered, it was funny, and I wondered why that can be, because the reason I knew about it, because I'm getting an email from the government. The employment register is emailing me, not to alert me, hey, there's been a problem, just hey, we just want to let you know this thing has happened in our system, like a regular information email, not a, red alert, we've discovered a problem, just like any person would get this email. And it does not seem to have triggered any...
Because you're white.
How does the computer know I'm white? How does the computer know I missed the work in Estonia, huh? How does it know that I...
Maybe there's a bias towards Commonwealth nations. And,
or maybe it's not hooked up like that, is the only thing I can imagine.
I don't know.
It's not so much that it'll get me now. I'm more worried that it's going to come back and bite me in the ass in 3 years when I have to renew the visa, and again, we'll get to the next part of the story, if I ever, heaven forbid, get permanent residency status, that it's going to come back and bite me in the ass then, but when they go back through the record and go, you, even though it was one job for less than $1,000, you worked for another company.
But here's the thing, though. You were registered on as a temporary employee for that other company, right? She might have not been actually registered as a Wolt driver.
Okay, there is that. They do say that. They say that she was not... Okay, certainly you can't work for another company, and they do say that in the article, that she's not registered as working for Bolt or
because
whoever.
Technically I'm a Bolt delivery driver. I downloaded the app. That's all you have to do to be. I think it was on this phone. I downloaded the Bolt Bolt courier app. Okay. And that's how you get a job with Bolt.
Yeah, right.
I just did it for the crack. I'm not actually going to deliver food because I'll just eat it all. But that's all it takes. There's like fuck all vetting system or whatever. It's not like being it's not like being a taxi where you got to go and register with MNT or whatever.
Yeah.
You just deliver food, you know.
So, okay, true, I was registered both times. So technically for a couple of days I'm registered as working for to companies.
Plus, it's probably the company's problem, not yours anyway. If the company registered you.
Well, apparently not. No, well, it's this. It's like saying in this Brazilian case, it's Bolt's problem. It certainly is not Bolt's problem.
No,
it's her problem.
Yeah.
So it's my problem. It's going to be. So I was actually thinking about, should I just write to PPA and be like, guys, I'm going to tell you this now because I don't want any problems in the future. What can we do? Here's what happened. Look, I'm going to own up to it. And I presume that if I own up to it, we can work some way. I'm not going to be deported within 15 days.
I don't think
I'm going to be either. I don't think so, but that's why I want to do it now. I think I'm going to write to him and be like, hey.
Plus, we don't know what she could have been speeding. She could have been drink driving. She could have been whatever. I don't know.
Because what I should have done is just written to the talent agents and be like, hey, no, don't pay me personally. Pay me through the company. Then it's all legit. So I'm not really have done enough. Like, it's all the same shit in the end. And I've paid all my social tax as well. So the government got their money, which has got to be half of it.
Yeah.
So who knows? Maybe this is going to be my Achilles heel. Maybe this is what I'll finally go down for. Is getting paid.
Come back in 3 months though. You know, I forget who I was talking to. I was talking to some fella years ago here. He was this black gentleman who lived in Tartu, and he told me he has to leave every 3 months anyway. That's how he gets around.
He's just on a tourist visa or something?
I think so, yeah.
Wow, they must question him eventually.
I don't know what any... Being from the European Union is fan-fucking-tastic. You can just come and go as you please and do whatever. It's all right, you know. As long as you don't drive drunk and break the law, you're fine.
Yeah. But as long as none of us have done that, Tim, hey?
Yeah, well, you know. Hey? Yeah. So what's the third part of the story then?
Oh, right. The third part of the story is I've got 3 years left on my current visa.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in 3 years, I have some options about how I'm going to get another visa. Option 1, I continue on as is. I continue on to be employed by my company. I just hope to God my company still exists financially by then, and I keep on being employed. Option 2, some sort of marriage deal has happened where I can get a visa based off some sort of marriage status. But there are some people who are part of that deal who don't think it's cool that we just get married for a visa.
Is that even a thing here? Because they dropped that in Ireland. You can't just marry someone and get a visa.
Oh, yeah, you do. Yeah. If
Really?
you marry someone, you're eligible for the residency of it. Yeah.
Oh,
That's how Stuart did it. Yeah,
Oh,
Stuart was off. And once you're done, then you're fine. Like after that as well, even after the divorce and all that, you're still fine. So there's that.
So you want to get married to me, right?
To you, because you're European resident.
Yeah, of
so
course. Yeah.
It's
Oh,
fine.
shit. You get the Irish passport as well.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Irish is a good passport.
Yeah,
I like that, yeah. You can have dual nationalities in Ireland, can't you?
You can, but not here.
Yeah, not in Estonia, right? Or option 3, which Pinchon has got me into the idea of, is that if I just learnt B1 Estonian, then I could get permanent residency. I fulfill all the criteria for permanent residency besides B1 Estonian.
B1 is the second tier, right?
Well, there's A1, A2, B1. So simple conversational level. And I'm like, is this finally going to happen?
Well, that leads me into the question of just how much Estonian do you actually know?
Well, you can have courses.
Because I think you know... I think you know a lot more than you let on.
Sure, which is all part of the plan. But, right, so I have... I was going to try and not mention this, but here I am talking about it on the podcast. So I'm asking around for classes. I don't... to learn. And I think I'm going to start with A1. Like, as you said, like, my knowledge is possibly there in bits of pieces. I have a feeling that my knowledge is very domain specific. I know about business and I know what I'm doing with all that stuff. I know about my day-to-day, but grammar...
I'm the same. For me, when I listen to the news on the radio, I know what the news. I learn the news. I know what they're saying. But I couldn't turn around and tell you what the news is. You know? I just hear it and I go, oh, yeah, shit, yeah, that's happening now.
So I want to start with A1 anyway. Not be like, jump to A2 and be like, oh, I know some things. And even if it's easy, fine. Good. Then I've had an easy time because I don't know languages. I don't know this. I think I need a easy course anyway to ease myself into it. And I don't think I want to do one-on-one I'm not sure yet.
I've heard the best way to do it is these group courses where they sit a bunch of foreigners around in a circle, and then they just say, go on, start speaking Estonian. And then there's a teacher there to correct mistakes and to explain grammar and all that. It's not like, because some teachers will make it feel like you're back in school, and no one wants to be back in school. It's shit. So the guy who runs Asian Cafe, that's what he told me. That's how he told me he learned Estonian, was he did this group lesson thing where 5 people sit in a circle with one Estonian native speaker, and they learn that way, conversationally.
Right.
Because doing it like the rote learning school shit, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work.
So yeah, I found this one school that they're trying to put together a class for autumn, and it would be like 4 or 5 people in a class. And I think, look, I'm not sure. It's been a long time since I've been to any sort of school. So I think I'll try that. Yeah. That's what I'm, raw the one-on-one, like Pinchon. No, who was, I was talking to Pinchon. Was it Pinchon? He was saying that he does it one-on-one and just does a Zoom thing and loves it because it can be whenever. He does it at home. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't think I want to.
Yeah, that's the thing. I started doing lessons with Tatiana, and I assumed it was going to be face-to-face, but it was over Skype. I cannot learn unless I'm sitting across from someone. I'm just going to open a tab and fucking not pay attention.
Sure.
I need to be sat there, and it's very childish, but it's just the way it is.
No, it is, because
my
that's
brain
the thing, right?
doesn't work
this
like
computer thing, which is apparently engineered to fucking take our attention. We can't get away from it. You're right there in front of you. I do that as well. Even at work, I'm now like trying to get away from my computer in our meetings because it's too easy for me to open a tab and fucking zone out.
But fair play to Tatiana. At least now I can say Kais on laua al. The cat is under the table. So what more do I need? Give me my fucking visa now.
So let's see. I don't want to make a big thing out of it. And also I figured that my visa is up in 3 years. Like, now's the time to start. I don't have to rush. There's plenty of time. It's not like I'm down to 6 months. And I'm like, oh, fuck. I'm fucked. What am I going to do? Let's see. If anyone listening has some thoughts on this, I'd appreciate your feedback, maybe classes or something about what I'm going to do.
Talk to Johannes. Johannes is obsessed with the idea of teaching me Estonian.
What?
To the point where he'll message me only in Estonian. And it annoys the shit out of me because I don't know if it's an important message or something I got to pay attention to. So I got to go, I got to go to Google Translate now and translate this. It's not teaching me anything. It's just making me go to Google Translate. It's making me go through an extra step to get his message. If Johannes
did that to me, he'd never be on an open mic again. I'd be like, fuck that.
I appreciate the concern and the wanting me to learn, but I'm not going to learn that way. That's just not going to happen. You know?
It's funny. That's so interesting. Johannes has never mentioned that side to me in any way whatsoever. I hope that I'm just too intimidating.
Everyone's afraid of you.
Good.
That's for sure.
Good. That's in one case that it's actually a good thing. I don't want this fucking stuff.
It negatively impacts a lot of the areas of your life, but it keeps Johannes away from you. That's it. That's it. But no, it's just such a I appreciate it, but geez, Johannes, stop. Just no. Or I was sitting in Von Kral a couple of weeks ago, and because the sound guy never showed up, so I just quickly turned on all the things, and Johannes was sitting next to me, pointing at shit and saying Estonian stuff, and I'm like, I just don't care right now. Go away. I'm not going to learn. You're just making me angry, which is making me actively not want to learn, by the way. It's steering me into fuck, I'll stick with English.
And also it's trying to work out those lights in Von Kral, very stressful, right? You're trying to work out those lights. It does take a while to work out that computer with that lighting system. Very stressful for a while. The show's going to happen. You're like, ooh.
Yeah, it's 5 minutes from the show, and I'm like, fuck, I got to turn
This is not the time for an
Estonian
lesson.
Well, I give him an A for effort anyway. Tell him that much. So we lost a good one last week, Lewis. I have to bring this up. The drummer for Slipknot, Joey Jordison, died. Probably my biggest musical influence as a child in drumming. The reason I became a drummer was because I loved
drum.
Yeah.
Oh, you do.
That's my main instrument. Yeah, drumming.
Right. And so why Slipknot? How did you get to this connection of Slipknot?
Just fucking angsty youth. Fuck, oh man, school sucks, bro. You know? And you just find this energetic band that just give the finger to everything, and you're an angsty child, so
were you interested in drumming before Slipknot, or you were like, you liked it and then you like found, oh wow, this is...
Nah. Like, I was like fucking maybe 12 when I heard my first Slipknot song. And it just blew me away. Like the energy, the speed, the technique, it's all new to me then. And I was like, fuck, I'm going to be a drummer now.
Huh.
And I fucking bought his own, he had his own custom sticks that he sold with these rubber like sleeves that you could replace, and they had white tips on them. And I was obsessed with this band for years and years and years. Now, I grew up and my music horizon widened, and I kind of stopped listening to metal properly, in the last few years. But like his death was one of the, it's like what I imagine someone who listened to Michael Jackson at his peak felt when they heard that Michael Jackson was dead, like shock, just like fuck me, shock.
This happened last week.
Yeah.
Okay. And do you remember where you were last week when this occurred, when you saw this?
I was just sitting at the PC in Pi there, and I just saw my friend Barry post the Slipknot, or that Joey Jordison was dead, and I was like, fuck. I mean, I wasn't surprised.
And it hit you straight away? Like in that moment, or did it take a moment to sort of... sometimes, shock takes a while to process.
It's weird, because when my dog Jack died, I didn't cry, because I was kind of expecting it. He was sick, and he was on the way out. So I was kind of shocked at my own lack of emotion and shock. And it was kind of the same with this one. I was like, okay, all right. He's okay. That makes sense. He's dead. He did lots of drugs. He had medical issues. But then, after a few days, you start listening to the old music again, and you're like, holy fuck. I forgot just how much influence this guy had on me. Like, I just randomly tapping some beats on my lap, I had forgotten that these are actual Joey Jordison Slipknot beats that I'm tapping every day, constantly. It was just like a fidgety thing. And I was like, fuck yeah, shit. I guess he did have a massive impact on me. Yeah. So I had to mention it because,
Well, I guess grief can take a while. Grief could come instantaneously. That's an interesting thing about grief. There's like, if you expect it, then it's somehow easier. Oh, grandma's dead, but, she was sick for very long.
Yeah.
Where it's always like, if someone just falls over, they're like, it was, that grief seems to affect us in a different way. And it's almost like you felt something, and then it was, your brain had to be like, oh, well, of course, the mental issues and the drugs, and that made it is like, then it's expected, then it's a little bit easier to deal with. It's the unexpected death we have problems with.
Like he was kicked out of Slipknot a number of years ago, so he's not been active. He had some other band after that, but it's not like he just died on tour or something. Okay. He just died. No one knows. The family haven't announced even how it happened. They just said he died peacefully in his sleep, which has spurned a lot of conspiracy theories on the internet that he got the vaccine, he died of a blood clot, and they're keeping it quiet because anti-vaxxers are fucking insane.
They'll take anything right now.
But I had just forgotten just how much influence this guy had on me. Like, I was surprised. I was like, fuck yeah, those beats, yeah, shit, I'd just be sitting here at my desk watching fucking SpaceX made a rocket, and I'm tapping away on these beats. I'm like, oh yeah, that is Slipknot. Yeah.
How long? You had a drum set at your place in Ireland for a while, didn't you?
Still do, yeah.
Still do. It's still up on the top.
There, yeah. I had a cheap Stag drum kit. Stag are like the just knockoff shitty drum company, and I spray painted it black. And then I used it was a silver drum kit. I spray painted it black, and I used a compass, those compasses with the needle on it, to like do lightning effects on it. And because I spray painted it, it ruined the sound because the wood wasn't vibrating anymore. So yeah, I still have that drum kit in bits and pieces back home. Yeah.
Okay, I guess that's who's got room for a drum kit? Certainly not in the carry-on these days.
Well, I could always get an electric one for here. I don't know. There's an old man who lives below me who doesn't like me, so I can't.
Okay. That's the last thing he wants.
Yeah, but I just thought, I should mention it on the podcast because maybe you have some listeners who enjoy the metal music.
A few metalheads, listening. A few people into that. That idea of that idea that someone can affect your life, a famous person can affect your life
to a very deep level.
To a very deep level, and not even famous. I mean, famous is not it, but someone who produced something that you don't necessarily know, but and that can still affect you, and that loss is felt, even though you've not heard of them for a while.
Yeah.
To know that the weirdest human beings like that, as a human being, as a biological thing, you haven't heard of that person for 5 years. It's the last time you heard some news about him, let's say. But to know that that person is no longer living affects you as a person, even though it doesn't physically change anything. You were not hearing news. This person wasn't part of your life anyway in the moment.
Yeah.
But it affects us.
Oh, massively. I mean, like, not just the drumming side of things, but like Joey wrote a lot of the early music as well. And I was a drummer in a metal band, and I wrote most of my band's music.
Okay.
So I don't know. It's just I don't know. I hate to admit that I look up to anyone, but I fucking looked up to this fella, and he's dead now. And that's it.
So what is to look up to someone? You admire them.
Yeah.
You think they did good work either in whatever field they're in or artistically. So that brings me back to what you just said. Why are you hesitant to look up to anyone? What you just said?
Because I just love the smell of my own shit, Lewis. I think I'm the greatest living being on the face of the earth. So how am I looking up to anyone?
He says, as just before the podcast, he put away 4 bags of KFC.
Oh, hey, 1 bag of KFC.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
1 bag of some other food, and 1 bag of some other food that I forget. But you know what I mean. Like, it's I don't like. It's a weird one. It's like a sign of weakness to like look up to someone who's not you. You know what I mean? Yeah, I can't describe it, but I would never like. You see people like my friend Barry posted on Facebook, like, "Oh, Joey Jordison died." So I would never dream of posting that on Facebook, just because I don't want people to go, "Oh, fucking Tim, look at him, man. He's fucking Tim's sad. What a faggot."
This is where are you going? Oh, getting a beer, right on. I'm trying to. Now we're going deep on the psychology, listeners, because Tim, you're the one that like was showing me about the idea of empathy, of the idea of thanks for the beer, of being open. Like, we've talked extensively that you are just like at your core, you are a considerate person to those around you. Where
to those around me,
to those around you, at the core, I am not. Doesn't mean and by that, no, I'm not inherently considerate because I'm an only child from a weird family. But it's almost like consideration is a skill that I have taught myself because I understood that is just a better way to be as a person, both for me and for the people around me. Where for you, it's an innate, instinctual feeling that you have.
Yeah. It's not even a feeling. It's just there's no question to it. There's no thought behind it. It's just, oh, I have this thing. I gotta give this thing to this guy. It's the way it is.
But then at the same time, then you've just said in this last conversation that you find it difficult to show that emotion or that fragility or that to others, like to say like, oh, that person is great. I am not as good as them, and I admire them. Or this person something has happened to them, and I feel sorrow for that.
Because I don't think it's something like you can admire someone and look up to someone, but it, like broadcasting it is pointless. Why do I don't care that other people. I don't care enough that other people see that, oh, Tim looks up to this person, to post about it on Facebook or to fucking talk. It's uncomfortable for me to talk about it on a podcast.
I was about to say, why then it's something about the medium because you're not happy with Facebook, but you felt the need to bring it up in this podcast.
Because, like Joey Jordison, like metal or not, extremely influential human being. And he died, and because metal is, it's a genre of music, so maybe 90% of the world's population don't listen to it, I don't care about it. I feel like it's important to bring it up if I can. Not just to talk about my admiration for him, but just to mention it, just to say it, John Prine, another musician, folk guitarist, he died of coronavirus last year. Not enough people talk about this guy. One of the most important musicians who ever lived died last year. No one really gave a shit. Only the people who liked his music gave a shit. Daniel Johnston, another one, this incredibly mentally fragile man, created some of the greatest music of all time, died in 2018. No one talked about it. So I will like bring this shit up. As small as your platform is, at least like 150 people will hear this story and go like, oh, okay, fair
Sure,
enough.
there is a difference in the medium between posting on Facebook and we're being 40 minutes in, 3 beers into a podcast, sitting in your apartment.
So like
with some level of fake, not want to say fake intimacy, but perceived intimacy of the podcast.
But like it's not. I just don't like broadcasting my admiration for someone over just mentioning. I'll bring up Joey and talk about Slipknot and how important it was and stuff like that.
Sure, the medium, the way that it's presented is really important, right? Like, I mean, first of all, it's because it's pretty easy. It's like almost like one extreme. Facebook is the one extreme, and it's pretty easy to say, yeah, that's fucked. Who gives a fuck?
But also, I twin it with these people who are in the vast majority, and I'm sorry, this is going to sound very horrible, but these idiots who, when the Charlie Hebdo attack happened, when the comic
years ago, feels like a million
Je
years
suis
ago.
Charlie putting the French flag as their avatar, just fuck off. Fuck off. I don't want to see that you care about this thing. You don't matter. So, I mean, it's nice for you personally that you go like, well, I empathize, I'm going to change my flag. But just what are you doing? Like, are you so like self-centered and narcissistic enough to think that I'm going to show everyone that I care because that matters, because I matter? No, it doesn't. So that's that. I twin it with that. That's why I wouldn't post, oh, Joey, we lost a good one today, man. I feel really bad about Joey Jordison dying on Facebook, because no one should give a shit about other people going, oh man, he's fucking, Tim gets it, man.
That idea that, okay, because I mean, we can say the podcast is not quite social media, right? This isn't quite a social media platform. The social media is about giving us all the false feeling that we are important and that we matter. And what I'm relating it to is I was speaking with my friend who is a music promoter, and she works for a big. Oh, Tim's beer's gone over the top. He's sitting here, and the Corona is going over the top, but he's got his hand holding it down in a very tight seal. And I feel like, Tim, you're in a difficult situation, and you don't quite know. Oh, look at that, he did it.
I'm a pro drinker, Lewis.
I am a pro drinker. You're a pro at many things. Right. My friend is also a music promoter. I don't want to say the company in the name, but they put on a bunch of they just did some music festivals, in the chance, right, in the thing. And when I think they said at this festival they had testing, Corona testing, okay, not IQ testing. And when they announced they were going to have testing, and like they got so many people writing to them saying and things like, oh, this is fucked, the testing is fucked, it was not only like did they say, oh, I have a problem with this, maybe they say it explicitly, but it's like, oh, I'm gonna get attention to this, I'm gonna start a campaign about this. Like, so many of the messages coming through is that people I guess threatening, right? They threaten and say, oh, I'm going to start a campaign. Oh, I'm going to expose you. Oh, the people think that their platform is something that people are going to listen to. And I would say that experience has been, we have also now with Comedy Estonia, and now that we've announced that there's testing at shows and we're vax only, that we have also had such people, make not a lot, but still there's one or two who make such a threat. The threat is my social media influence, I will negatively say some things about you, and my social influence will then, I will make a thing about this. I will go to the media. I will do this. And I mean, that was the funny thing also with my friend and with Comedy Estonia. We're like, there's a refund, guys. You can have your refund. We're not even trying to take your money. You're welcome to have your money back. But these people feel that they have a platform when. And
are they almost expecting Comedy Estonia to stand up and go, no, we're not going to take this. We're going to allow unvaccinated people and stand up to the government? Is that their mentality?
Well, that's the next step along. Next step along, what there was when we made that announcement that the tours for Ari Matti are going to be vax only. There was, again, people in the comments who were saying like, this is fucked. This is, and you should stand up and you should take a stand and you should all this like we apparently, those people felt that we should be fighting the government. I'm like, no, I don't want to. I'm not even here to make a political stand. I am not here to be pro-vax. I am here to run a fucking comedy show so I can keep this company going.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to make a political statement. I will do whatever the fuck Kaya Kala says if she will let me run that show. The people felt that it was our obligation to make a stand against the government. And thankfully, there were other people who were like, what the fuck are you talking about, you crazy people? And, that was a very intense thing whenever you receive that sort of feedback online. And it's also because it's not just summer tour or autumn tour, it's Ari's tour. So the artist is also getting heat as well. So I appreciate that's a difficult thing for the artist as well to have to, essentially stick their neck out. And, and thankfully Ari has such, for lack of a better term, street cred, especially with real salt of the earth demographic of people that, maybe it was anyone else who might appear more high and mighty. Ari doesn't appear high and mighty in any way. So I don't know if that helps. And in the end, it was just like, it was fine because those people that were saying those things, I bet you they're not even the people coming to the show.
Yeah.
I bet you they're not even. They're just people who want to get worked up online.
Yeah.
And in the end, all that did was make more comments and more fucking engagement, which made that post go more viral. So cool. Thank you for the marketing help.
Like I do think the internet is, it's revolutionized everything and it's fantastic. But also I truly believe that the internet was a mistake. It was a fucking mistake. It was great in the 90s when it was free, fucking everything was great. It was just on forums talking shit and sharing stuff. But like the advent of TikTok has just solidified my belief that we need the internet has to go. It was a giant mistake.
The question becomes then how to do this, right? Let's say how to roll back this. The technology has gone on and on and on, and how to roll this back, right? How is this technically possible?
It's too much money in it. It's not possible.
It's not possible, right?
Too much money.
The closest practical idea that I can come to that the internet to bring it all back is we've got to slow it down. It's the speeds that are too much, right? The closest practical idea is, you know why the internet was cool back when we were doing it? Because we were connecting on a fucking 56K modem that we could connect for an hour, and you paid by the hour, and you only got limited amount of time.
All you could do was go on Usenet and read text.
Right.
Images and videos were
porno image took 30 seconds to go line by line down the screen. I didn't have a porn addiction when I couldn't get it. I didn't have an addiction to all this. Slow it down again. Everyone, when I'm president, everyone's back to 56K modems. That's where we go. That's gonna.
Well, I'm out of the job then.
Fuck it. It's for society's future. Too,
yeah,
you have to work on a 56K modem.
Well, I just love we talked about this briefly on the podcast with Christian Yekimov. The idea from American Gods, where there's the old gods, which is the likes of Odin and Norse gods and Greek gods and stuff like that, and then there are the new gods, which are media, radio, internet, that type of thing. And it does have a fucking whiff of the internet's just this big, massive, monolithic, evil thing. And it's just like, until TikTok came around, I didn't really give a shit. But TikTok is
it pushed you over the edge.
The death of everything. Like, I'm almost considering just being a full-on Christian, messaging these fucking idiot young girls on TikTok, shaking their arse and saying, "You need Jesus. You need Jesus."
Okay, so this is bringing up all sorts of shit, which it's a point of view that I never thought. Okay, the extension of what you just said, right? I never thought I would come to this point of view. I just never. Because
you love the young girls on TikTok shaking their ass.
Oh my God, does Lewis love the young girls on TikTok? However, okay, from not the young girls part, you said the religion part, right? I never thought I would do this. I'm starting to think that maybe religion wasn't such a bad idea after all.
Oh, mate, subhanallah. I'm with that. I'm there with you.
That it was the thing that bound our society together. That instead of arguing with each other, we're like, fuck you, no, fuck you, no, fuck you. At least when there was a religion there, we're all like, okay, we're all about the God people. So I realize I'm simplifying things a little bit, right? But it's the first time in my life I've ever thought maybe religion ain't such a bad idea.
Yeah, like morality is a human thing. There are good people and there are bad people. It's got nothing to do with religion. But religion, in my experience anyway, Catholicism, growing up Catholic, it does teach you right from wrong. And yeah, they fucked a lot of kids and they did a lot of evil things, but the Catholic Church did good things as well. You know, they did a lot of good charity work. They still do a lot of good charity work. And I turned out all right. So yeah, there's something to it.
The boys get fucked, and but that's still not as bad as the internet overall. It's still not as bad as a million Amazon workers getting fucked. Young boys of Ireland, take one for the team. Yeah. Okay.
They did some really bad stuff.
Wee little Seamus growing up in Kerry, you're gonna have to get fucked so the rest of the world can live a better life.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly,
sorry.
Yeah. Sorry, Seamus.
Sorry, Seamus.
I don't know. I just think that there's enough good there that the bad is really bad. Like at the moment, there's a massive bad scandal going on in Canada, which I talked about, where the church, like the First Nation people, are unearthing all these mass graves of dead kids in these churches. So that's really bad. But also, I don't know, like when I was growing up, like the idea of there being a God and a heaven and there being a devil in hell, it kept me on the straight and narrow, because, those TikTok girls, they need Jesus.
And now, oh boy, praise the Lord. How did we get to this? How did we get that it's the Tim and Lewis podcast becoming pro-religion all of a sudden? That's how
I don't know. I'm just getting old and I'm just looking at the way things are going. It's not good. The one good thing I will say about TikTok, I'm losing the run of myself here now, but there's a tremendous amount of racism on TikTok. I mean, like an overtly.
The one good thing about TikTok.
But there's like, how do I get out of this one now? Because I have a point, but I don't know how to make it. Because racism is bad. And I love all people. Oh, you're all wonderful.
Tim loves
all the minorities
the
are fantastic. I love black people. Slavery was bad. Apartheid was wrong. It was all bad and wrong. And everyone's great. Paul gave me free pies today. I love that man to death. But there is this tremendous amount of overt racism on TikTok. And no one seems to be talking about it. Because YouTube, like, even just saying the N-word on YouTube, your video gets removed.
Right.
Same with Instagram. But TikTok seems to not give a shit. There's this trend of videos at the moment of young white kids saying getting close to saying the N-word and then just cutting off their video before they actually say it. Sure. And it's like, ha ha, fuck.
Have you been watching Caleb's TikTok again?
Unfortunately, on my browser, when I type the letter T, it used to take me to Twitter, like the autofill. Yeah. Then it started bringing me to Johannes's Twitch channel, and now it's just Caleb's fucking TikTok every time I type T. So I check in on him now and then because he left and I don't know, he's not talking to anyone.
Yeah, he's not even in Estonia right now, is he?
He got me arrested so he can fucking stay where he is.
See, now we're starting to come back. We are going to slowly, dear listeners, piece together the story of Tim's encounter with the police. Without him telling the story, we're going to piece it together.
Once the decision has been made, I'll talk about it.
Okay.
Decision hasn't been made yet.
Oh, so. Right, that's right. They visited a little while ago, and it's still finally got to be signed off.
It's a fluid situation.
Okay, it's a fluid situation. You don't want your 15 days. You don't want your 3 months thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Tim still wants to be a Bolt driver, you got to respect the work visa.
Yeah. But yeah, religion, great.
Why don't we wrap it up here? We've done an hour 14. That's a good podcast, Tim. I like it. Actually, this is nice. Just sitting around your apartment talking to crack.
We're not at a desk and we're not in an environment where we feel like we have to be switched on. We're just hanging out.
Just hanging out here. I guess next time we could do it at my place maybe next time or something.
Yeah. Get vaccinated, people. Get it.
Get your vax just so you can come to the show.
Get the Sputnik.
Get Sputnik. Get it India. Get multiple Sputniks. And what are we going to do because they're saying like, well, last maximum of a year, so we all got to get more vaccines. Oh, it's great. It's just going to be non-stop vaccines.
Well, I got an advisory from the Irish government saying that if you have the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, you have to get a booster shot soon.
Is that the one shot? The
one shot, yeah. And the Pfizer one, apparently, the World Health Organization are saying, let's wait for more data. But France, Germany, and the USA are now saying you need a third shot if you're on the Pfizer.
I'll take it. Sure, stack them up.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Tim, thank you very much for doing it.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone, for watching. See you next time.
Bye.